fertilization. Bryophyta also required water for the fertilization, and as well as Pteridophyta also required water for fertilization. So please write down this information on margin. We are talking about these are the three different parts of the plant kingdom who require water for fertilization. Got it? Please write down this information in margin because it's a common point. Now next point, we already discussed this point. During the fertilization, definitely there is a requirement of one male gamete. And you know very well, male gamete, basically these are the motile. Okay. Now again there is a requirement of one female gamete, and this female gamete called as the egg, also called as the oosphere. Okay, oosphere, not oospore. Oospore means what? Oospore also called as the zygote. Oospore means zygote, and you know very well when we are talking about the zygote, these are the diploid in nature. So we are talking about there is a presence of the male gamete, which is a motile one, and female gamete, also called as the egg, also called as the oosphere. Ploidy level, gamete same. So both these are the haploid in nature. Now what happened? During the fertilization process, both this male and the female, they fused with each other, and that fusion, definitely that fusion simply it is called as the gamete fusion, also called as the fertilization. And for the fertilization, water is required. Once there is a formation of this fertilization, after the fertilization, now there is a formation of diploid zygote. क्या फॉर्म होगा यहाँ पे? There is a formation of the diploid zygote. Pratyusha, oogonium means reproductive organ, female reproductive organ. Oogonium. Inside the oogonium, oosphere is present. जैसे हम कहते हैं ना, spore mother cell. Inside the spore mother cell, there is a presence of the spore. In other language, हम कहते हैं ovary. Inside this ovary, there is a presence of the synergid cells, antipodal cells, polar nuclei, and again there is a presence of egg. So oogonium means what? Female sex organ or female reproductive part. Collectively it is called as the oogonium. ठीक है, part. और उसके अंदर present होगा oosphere. That is a specific part, egg, who involved in fertilization. Got it? Oogonium, these are the female reproductive part, and inside oogonium, oosphere is present. So both part is different. दोनों part different है. Nucellus, these are the nutritive tissue which is present inside the ovule. That is a part of angiosperm. यहाँ पे उसको मत लाओ. We are talking about the Bryophyta. Nucellus, these are the nutritive tissue which is present inside the ovary, angiosperm. ठीक है, चलो. So back to pavilion. Male gamete, motile. Female gamete, non-motile. Normally ऐसे ही होता है. ठीक है. Now fusion. After the fusion, there is a formation of the zygote. Now these are the stage. First time that zygote, they undergo the development of embryo. Embryo get formed. And now what happened? We can say one sentence here. This embryo, whatever we form the embryo, first time there is an embryo formation. Because in case of this algae, embryo totally absent. But now what happened? First time inside the Bryophyta, first time embryo get formed, and ploidy level of the embryo, that is diploid. On the basis of that, Bryophyta, also called as the embryophytes. There is a first time embryo get formed, and on the basis of that, we are talking about the alternative name, Bryophytes, also called as embryophytes. Why we are talking about embryophytes? Because first time there is a formation of embryo inside the Bryophyta, and on the basis of that, please write down this information. Embryo कहाँ पे present होगा? So definitely embryo, these are first time present in case of Bryophyta. First time. After the Bryophyta, embryo formation also present in Pteridophyta. After the Pterido, again embryo formation also present in Gymnosperm, and as well as embryo formation also it is a part of Angiosperm. So embryo present in all these four types under the Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, Gymnosperm as well as the Angiosperm. And where this embryo structure is absent? In case of algae. So algae, these are the primitive part of the plant kingdom. Definitely we can say there is inside the algae, embryo structures are totally absent. So for the absent, I am giving the symbol that is minus. So please write down this information in margin. Inside the algae, embryo absent, but bryo, pterido, gymno, angio, in all remaining all part of the plant kingdom, there is a presence of the embryo. और ये कहाँ से initiate हुआ? First time it is get initiated from Bryophyta. So that's why Bryophyta also called as the embryophytes. Means the plant where first time embryo get formed, embryo get evolved. Got it? Yeah, this point is clear everyone. Any doubt? Question banta hai yahan se, okay? Where embryo present and where embryo absent. So in this step, we already discussed that question. So in case of algae, embryo absent, but remaining bryo, pterido, gymno, angio in all part of the plant kingdom, the embryo formation is present. But from where it is first get initiated? It is get initiated from Bryophyta. Got it? Got it? Anyone? Okay, chalo. So now continue next part, embryo. Now there is a formation of the diploid embryo. Yes, there is an embryo get formed. Now this embryo, it is undergo growth and development. Further, see, we are talking about some flowchart information. Initially, there is a presence of the male gamete, female gamete. Fusion in presence of water, fertilization, zygote get formed. After this zygote, it is converted into embryo. And now we are talking about finally embryo. After the embryo formation, now that embryo, it is converted into a body that is sporophytic body. So finally, it is converted into one body that is sporophytes. Which body? Sporophytes. Okay. If you see the ploidy level, ये हम फिर से part repeat करेंगे when we discuss about the haplodiploidic life cycle. If you see the ploidy level, after the fertilization, zygote get formed, zygote होगा diploid. Now there is a formation of the embryo. Embryo also get diploid. Now embryo further develop, undergo the development, growth, and they form a sporophyte. So what is the ploidy level of sporophyte? Again, they have diploid in nature. This sporophyte, it is consist of the three parts. These sporophytes, it is consist of three parts. Which three parts? Number one, foot. Number second, theta, and the number third, that is capsule. So we discuss this part when we talk about the funaria life cycle. But here we are talking about sporophyte, which is a diploid body. True. Sporophyte, which is a diploid body, and that sporophyte, they consist of the three parts. Number one, foot. Number second, seta, and the number third, that is capsule. Okay, so we'll discuss that part later. Capsule का आगे क्या होगा? How there is a formation of the spore. The spore undergo the formation of the gametophytic body. So when we discuss about the funaria life cycle, that time we discuss in very diagrammatic representation, very simple way. So now these are the some developmental pattern after the fertilization. Yes, zygote get formed. Zygote undergo the development of embryo. Embryo basically these are the first stage where the embryo get developed. Now embryo further it is undergo the development of this sporophytic body. Whenever we are talking about this sporophytic body, it consists of the foot, seta, as well as the capsule. So if we are talking about some further information, inside the capsule, we focus only capsule, okay? We are talking about inside the capsule, inside, okay? Only we are talking about the capsule part. Inside the capsule, there is a presence of spore mother cell. Which mother cell? Spore mother cell. And you know very well, whenever we are talking about the mother cell, diploidy level, that is diploid, because sporophytic body is diploid, and whatever body part present on the sporophytic, चाहे वो फूट होने दो, सीटा होने दो, कैप्सूल होने दो, all they has the diploid body. Two way. Spore mother cell, they have which body? That is diploid condition. These spore mother cell undergo the process of meiosis. And more specific, we are talking about which meiosis? Sporic meiosis. I hope you remember, हमने पहले algae में देखा था, algae showing zygotic meiosis. Why zygotic? Because after the fertilization, in case of algae, zygote बनेगा and under favorable condition, that zygote immediately undergo reductional division. That zygote immediately undergo the meiosis process, right? So now what happened whenever we are talking about that zygote? Zygote undergo reductional division. Zygote undergo meiosis process. So that's why we are talking about such type of this division. These are called as the zygotic meiosis. And zygotic meiosis, it's very much common in case of algae and in case of fungi. But now we are talking about Bryophyta. So Bryophyta में क्या होगा? There is a formation of one body, that is sporophytic body. Sporophytic body के भी अंदर there is a consist of the three part: foot, seta, capsule. Capsule also diploid है. Inside this capsule, there is a presence of the spore mother cell. Spore mother cell, ploidy level, diploid. Spore mother cell undergo the process of sporic meiosis. And now, after the meiosis, because you know very well, meiosis basically these are the reductional division. After the meiosis process, now there is a formation of meiospore. Meiospore means what? That is product of meiosis, right? There is a formation of the meiospore and ploidy of that meiospore. Now these are haploid because spore mother cell diploid in nature. They form meiospore after the process of sporic meiosis. Now what happened? These meiospore जो बना, now it is undergo the process of germination. Try to understand to cycle because ये बार बार repeat होगा. In case of Bryophyta, in case of Pteridophyta, ये जो process है ना, ये 100% process is आदि similar. तो ये बार बार repeat होगा. Don't worry. So spores get formed. Spores under the favorable condition is undergo the germination, right? And after the germination, now they can form gametophytes. क्या बनाएंगे ये? They can form a gametophytes. And gametophytes means what? The body who can produce gametes, the body who can produce the sex gamete, right? And could you please tell me, in case of Bryophyta, which phase is dominant? Sporophytic phase is dominant or gametophytic phase is dominant? We discussed this point. Which phase is dominant? Sporophytic or gametophytic? Quickly tell me, Suhas. Yes. रामचंद्र नहीं रे बाबा, स्पोरोफाइटिक कैसे आंसर होगा? हाँ, यस एड्रिक ट्रू, सुहास ट्रू, प्रत्युषा ट्रू. प्रत्युषा आंसर करेक्ट देती है लेकिन छोटा सा क्वेश्चन मार्क भी होता है. Yes, gametophytic body, these are the dominant body because I hope you remember we discussed that part. On gametophytic body, there is a presence of the root-like structure, stem-like structure, leaf-like structure. So gametophytic body, they are totally capable for the photosynthesis. They are totally capable for the absorption of water and the mineral. So who is dominant? Who is dominant? Gametophytic body is dominant over the sporophytic. Okay, so we'll discuss that part later. But remember this point. Sequence देखो क्या क्या हो रहा है. फिर से एक बार हम quickly देख रहे हैं सारी चीजें. Initially there is a presence of the gametes, male gamete and the female gamete. Gamete का fusion होगा. After the fusion zygote बना. Zygote form the embryo. Embryo further form the sporophyte. Sporophyte consists of the three part: foot, seta, capsule. Inside the capsule there is a presence of the spore mother cell. Spore mother cell undergo, she plays safe. Okay. Spore mother cell, they undergo the sporic meiosis, right? After the sporic meiosis, there is a formation of the haploid spore. Spore under favorable condition undergo the process of germination. And after the germination, again they form which body? Gametophytic body, which is a dominant. Because gametophytic body, in case of Bryophyta, they are capable for food synthesis, they are capable for the. So whenever we are talking about, in case of Bryophyta, which body is dominant? Gametophytic body or sporophytic body? So answer will be gametophytic body. ठीक है। एंड यहाँ पे हमने फर्स्ट टाइम मेंशन किया स्पोरिक मियोसिस. सो प्लीज राइट डाउन सम इंफॉर्मेशन हियर वेयर द स्पोरिक मियोसिस आर प्रेजेंट. सो sporic meiosis, these are present in case of Bryophyta. Again, Pteridophyta also showing the sporic meiosis. Gymnosperm also showing the sporic meiosis, and along with that, angiosperm also showing sporic meiosis. Except algae, okay? Except algae, Bryo, Pterido, Gymno, Angio, all they are showing sporic meiosis. What is the meaning of sporic meiosis? Something a spore mother cells are there. That spore mother cell undergo the meiosis process, sporic meiosis, and they produce meiospore. They produce a spore, which is a haploid in nature. So sporic meiosis very much common in case of Bryo, Pterido, Gymno, as well as the Angio. But when we talk about in case of algae, so algae showing zygotic meiosis. Algae, these are showing which meiosis? Zygotic meiosis. Means what? After the fertilization, zygote get formed, and that zygote undergo reductional division, and they produce a spore, haploid spores. So only one algae showing zygotic meiosis. Rest of all plant kingdom, they are showing sporic meiosis. Clear? Clear? Anyone? Tia, Komal, Pratyusha, Suhas, Rangi, Deepika. Okay. Ramchandra, Nihal is there. Kimaya, Asmita. Edric, Rebecca, Jared, Jared. Okay, okay, chalo. See, this chapter, I told you, students totally छोड़ देते हैं chapter को because they feel like बहुत theory and everything. But if you are doing smartly, अगर आप इसको smartly कर रहे हो, so these are the very easy chapter. बस थोड़ा सा effort चाहिए. And how you analyze that? जहाँ कहीं पे भी variation आ रहा है और similar point आ रहा है, please write down that point immediately. That is the best way to compare. See, one thing it is repeated again and again. So write down together. That is the best way to understand. That is the best way to study. अगर कोई चीज repeated हो रही है, so please write down that together. That is the exactly success of this chapter. Yeah, chalo. So these are the all information. Now next point we are talking about during the fertilization how that water play very important role and what is the function of mucilage. Next point. And then we start about the classes of Bryophyta. So now we are talking about definitely water is required for the fertilization. So we have to prove that. So quickly I draw this some simple diagram for male and the female gamete. Suppose these are the male gamete which is a motile. Okay, suppose we are taking very simple diagram. So whenever leaving this chapter anymore, everything is clear. Okay, Kimya, it's sure that is good, beta. बट ये अभी नहीं बोलेंगे हमें क्या छोड़ना है और क्या नहीं छोड़ना है. आई टेल यू वन सिलेबस इज गेट कवर्ड, तब बताएंगे आपको क्या करना है एग्जैक्टली स्ट्रैटेजी. अभी तो सब कुछ करना है, अभी कुछ नहीं छोड़ना है. दैट्स व्हाई यू आर टेकिंग अ सेकंड चांस बिकॉज आपने कुछ छोड़ा था. सो वी आर नॉट टेकिंग एनी चांस. तो हमें सब कुछ करना है बट स्मार्टली. चलो. सो इन केस ऑफ ब्रायोफाइटा दिस आर द मोटाइल मेल गैमेट. पूरा यहाँ पे वाटर वाटर प्रेजेंट है. ऑल दीज आर द वाटर बिकॉज फर्टिलाइजेशन प्रेजेंट वॉट एवर दिस प्रेजेंट इट इज डूइंग इनसाइड द वाटर. नाउ व्हाट हैपन, ये प्रेजेंट है यहाँ पे फीमेल सेक्स ऑर्गन. सपोज बिकॉज वी ऑलरेडी डिस्कस देयर इज अ प्रेजेंस ऑफ दिस डिफरेंट पार्ट. NCC cells are there, VCC cells are there, so we are not taking too much complication. We are taking the simple part. There is a presence of female gamete. and inside this female gamete, now यहाँ पे present होगा egg, which is a haploid, because these are the female gamete structure or female gamete or sex organ, entire structure, and inside this structure there is a presence of egg, because you know very well in case of human also egg, they should be protected so many layers, so many jelly, so egg should be protected, but egg कैसा है यहाँ पे, egg basically is a non-motile. Now what happen, इसको attract करना पड़ेगा. Now during the maturity, egg release some chemical. So we are talking about how that female sex organ or female gamete, they can attract to male, because everything is water, right? तो पता कैसे चलेगा? So female sex organ, they release some chemical to attract the male. So now these are the mouth suppose, and through the mouth there is a release of some chemical to attract. So I'm writing the name. These are nothing but specific type of the chemical, and the name of the chemical, that is mucilage. Mucilage, which is a one sticky substance who can absorb the water. What is the name of the chemical? That is mucilage. So now what happened? I'm writing some information in flow chart. How that mucilage get released. During the maturity means what? Female gamete, that is egg, it is totally get mature. So male को attract करना पड़ेगा, and all this fertilization process occur inside the water. So best way, release chemical to attract male gamete. So I'm writing some information in flow chart. At maturity, female gamete, that is egg, female gamete or egg, they release chemical. Nothing but we are talking about mucilage chemical. Name of the chemical, that is mucilage, right? Now what happened? Because of secretion of mucilage, because mucilage is the one kind of the chemical. So there is a movement of male gamete, because male gamete motile hai. So slowly that male gamete showing movement towards that chemical. मान लो कि for example अभी classroom है, and inside this classroom अगर कोई enter हो रहा है and उसने कोई डिवो या फिर perfume use किया है, so ultimately what happen? You sense a very small smell. मतलब जैसे enter होगा, immediately जो first bench के ऊपर जो बैठे होंगे, those students, they are feeling very strong smell. But now what happened? Last student who is the student who's sitting on the last bench, now he feel very pleasant smell. But जैसे that girl or that boy walking, so ultimately they feel a strong smell. Same principle apply here. Initially, if male gamete away from the female, now he feel something chemical is get released, so they can sense inside the water, because mucilage is the one sticky substance and ultimately they can interact with water, they absorb the water, mucilage. And now what happened? That male gamete, they sense that mucilage, and because of that sensation, male gamete showing movement towards the female gamete, because female gamete non-motile, right? So due to that chemical, male gamete, which is a motile, showing chemotactic movement. Showing chemotactic movement. What is meaning of chemotactic? See, दो types के movement होते हैं. एक होता है chemotrophic and another one is chemotactic. Chemotactic means what? Entire body, complete body showing movement towards the chemical. So what is meaning of this chemotactic movement? Entire or the complete body. Complete body showing movement towards chemical, right? Such type of this movement pattern, these are called as a chemotactic. Chemo means chemical, tactic means what? Complete body. Human में भी ऐसे ही होगा. Human male, that is human sperm, animal sperm, they are showing movement. Entire body move होता है. ऐसे नहीं कि बाबा चलो tail का portion बस movement कर रहा है, only acrosomes they are showing movement. No, entire body they are showing movement toward that egg, because egg release something chemical. Similarly, in case of Bryophyta, even in Pteridophyta also, there is a presence of the chemotactic movement, because now what happened? To attract male gamete, female gamete secrete the chemical like mucilage, and now what happened? that mucinescence by the male gamete, or now it will be showing movement, entire body it will be showing movement toward the female gamete. And you know very well, जैसे male gamete reach होगा towards the female gamete, now that male gamete and the female gamete, that is egg, they are showing the fusion. Successful fertilization can be occurred, zygote banega, embryo banega, and now finally there is a formation of this sporophytic body. Okay, so I am talking about one point. Chemotactic movement कहाँ पे present होगा? So chemotactic movement, these are the very much common in case of Bryophyta and the Pteridophyta. No gymnosperm, no angiosperm, even not in algae also. So please write down this information in margin. Chemotactic movement, these are present in case of Bryo and the Pteridophyta. Okay, Bryo as well as the Pteridophyta. Other chemicals भी होते हैं, sometimes malic acid use होता है, sometimes sucrose also, sometimes potassium also, but mucilage, these are the most common, which is act as a chemical to attract the male. So remember this point, ये फिर से repeat होगा. Chemotactic movement is present in case of only and only Bryophyta and the Pteridophyta. What is meaning of chemotactic movement? Complete body, entire body of male gamete showing movement towards chemical. Got it? Gametic meiosis present in animal, Ramchandra. Animal में present होगा ये, even in human also. It is present in animal, gametic meiosis, because we have in the germ cell. Yeah, this point is clear. What is meaning of chemotactic? Anyone, any doubt? Any doubt? Done? Okay. So ये point हम थोड़ा सा link कर रहे हैं with angiosperm. Write down this information in margin. It's extra because confusion होगा. Where the chemotactic word is there, ultimately there is a chemotropic word also there. So we are talking about another method, that is chemotropic movement. Chemotropic movement means what? Only some part of the body showing movement. Chemotactic, entire body. Chemotropic, some part of the plant body. Some part of male gamete body showing movement towards chemical. Towards chemical. And such type of this scenario, it's very much common in case of angiospermic plant. You know very well this concept, but आपको इस word से पता नहीं होगा. Chemotropic movement. Normally what happen? There is a presence of this ovary. So suppose these are the part of the stigma. Now this style. Now these are the ovary. So you know very well these are the entire structure of carpel, or also you can say that is gynoecium. So these are the entire structure of the gynoecium in case of angiospermic plant. Now what happened? ये जो part है, that is called as the stigma, receiving part. On the stigma, basically pollen grain come and attach here, right? So ये क्या है? These are the pollen grain, and you know very well in case of this angiosperm, basically two cell stages very much common. Now what happened? These pollen grain, if there is a 100% species interaction, recognition, now from the pore there is a formation of the pollen tube. So ये क्या बना? There is a formation of the pollen tube, right? And through the pollen tube, via the pollen tube, now slowly that male gamete, they are showing movement. So what is these are? These are the two male gamete, because one male gamete they fused with the egg, another male gamete they fused with polar nuclei to form a endospore. Oh, so what happened in this condition? If you understand the reproduction pattern or how that male gametes get delivered, so entire body, total pollen grain, it is not showing, it is not entered through stigma. क्या generate होगा? Only some part. Some part means what? Only pollen tube. Only pollen tube they are showing germination, right? And now what happened? You know very well, synergid cells, they secrete some chemical, and through that chemical pollen tube they are showing the growth. तो ये pollen tube germination क्या हो रहा है? These are the one type of the chemotropic movement. What is meaning of that? Maximum body of that pollen grain, they lie outside this stigma. Only some portion where pore is present, that is called the germinal pore. From that pore, pollen tube they get emerge, and now they are showing movement towards the egg, because egg is surrounded by the synergid cell. Synergid cell secrete chemical, and with the help of that chemical, now pollen tube they are easily showing the growth. So एक कौन सा pattern है? These are called as a chemotropic movement. Chemotropic means what? Only some part. And here you can remember simple part, that is pollen tube germination. Entire maximum body of the pollen grain they lie outside the stigma. Only some portion like pollen tube they are showing growth towards the egg, because जैसे जैसे pollen tube elongate होगा, along with that male gamete also showing movement. Yes or no? Clear this point? Yeah. This point is clear, everyone. What is meaning of chemotactic and what is meaning of chemotropic? That is, these part of 12th standard. वहाँ पे बस मैं नाम mention करूँगी, right? So please understand what is the exactly basic difference between the chemotactic and the chemotropic. Chemotactic very much common in case of Bryophyta. In case of the chemotropic, these are the method very much common in case of angiospermic plant. Okay, chalo. Done? Yeah. So next part we are talking about life cycle and alternation of generation. We already discussed Bryophyta. Basically, these are the first plant where embryo get formed. That's why it is called as the embryophyte. Now, next second condition. Basically, it is having two generation. One generation that is haplontic generation, that is gametophytic body, which is the dominant. Another generation that is sporophytic body. So, दो body है basically. Algae में entire body haplontic body, means except zygote. All the stage of that life cycle, like all the stages of the life cycle in case of algae, all these are the haploid. But in case of Bryophyta में क्या है? आधी body ऐसे haploid body and half body, these are the sporophytic body. Now here we observe there is a presence of the sporic meiosis. The sporic meiosis, these are the very much common in case of bryo, terido, gymno as well as the angiosperm. उसके बाद हम बात करें life cycle. Which type of the life cycle present in case of Bryophyta? And here I'm quickly revise this. I'll quickly compare this point with Pteridophyta also, because यहाँ पे confusion होगा. So next point we are talking about life cycle. Life cycle. Simply whenever we are talking about in case of Bryophyta, तो यहाँ पे हो रहा है regular switch. Means sporophytic body converted into gametophytic body, gametophytic body it is converted into sporophytic body. So now how we explain this point? Dominant phase A, that is gametophytes, haploid A, right? And now what happened? These gametophytic body, they can produce sex organ. They can produce sex organ. Organ. They can produce sex organ. Ploidy level of the sex organ again haploid, because all these are the part कहाँ पे present on gametophytic body. तो gametophytic body का जितना भी part है, all that part is haploid. So that gametophytic body they produce sex organ, and this sex organ simply we can say that is gametes, male gametes or female gametes. So what will be the ploidy level? These are the haploid ploidy level. Now such gametophytic body, after the fertilization, they form a zygote. Fusion hoga, right? And that fusion nothing but that is called as the fertilization. And after the fertilization, there is a formation of the zygote. Zygote also what level? that is ploidy level diploid. Further, zygote undergo development of embryo because first time inside the Bryophyta there is a development of embryo. First time यहाँ पे develop हुआ. So what is the ploidy level? Again it has the diploid ploidy level. Embryo basically they undergo the development of sporophytic body. So further stage gametophytic body, haploid, and now there is a formation of the next body, sporophytic body. That is sporophytes. Ploidy level, that is 2N, right? Sporophytes. Such sporophytic body, they produce gamete. Means they produce the spores. So sporophytic body, they has spore mother cell. This capsule, inside this capsule, there is a presence of the spore mother cell. What will be the ploidy level of the spore mother cell? Again, it has diploid. Spore mother cell undergo the process of sporic meiosis. Which process? Sporic meiosis. And after this sporic meiosis, now there is a formation of the meiospore, which is haploid in nature. Okay. And now what happened? Once there is a formation of the meiospore undergo the process of germination, growth, development, सब कुछ अच्छा अच्छे दिन, and again they converted into which body? Gametophytic body. So I'm writing some information on the arrow. Meiospore undergo the germination, and finally they form a gametophytic body, which is a dominant one. So now यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है? Life cycle. See the life cycle, right? Sporophytes, fertilization, zygote embryo, sporophytes body, sorry, gametophyte, they produce gamete, male female gamete showing fusion, zygote embryo, sporophytic body, it has the spore mother cell, undergo the sporic meiosis, formation of the meiospore undergo the germination, and after the germination there is a formation of gametophyte, who the body who can produce a sex organ, sex gamete during the maturity. So simply यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है? Gametophyte converting to sporophyte converting to gametophyte. Alternation in generation. Yes or no? Right? So I'm writing some information here. पहले present थी body which is a dominant, that is gametophytic body. Haploid है, but still these are the dominant because it is capable for the food synthesis. They can capable for absorption of water and the mineral. Now what happened? This gametophytic body further converted into sporophytes. After the fertilization, हमने देखा कैसे कैसे develop होगा. So we are not talking that part. We are talking about alternation in generation. Now same sporophytic body, they undergo the reductional division and they produce gametophytic body. तो क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पे? Switch हो रहा है. Regular switch between the gametophytic and the sporophytic. Such type of the generation, simply it is called as alternation of generation. Alternation of generation. Got it? Yes, alternation in generation. Gametophytic convert into sporophytic body, sporophytic convert into gametophytic body. So such type of this alternation in generation, these are common in case of Bryophyta as well as these are the common in case of Pteridophyta. So ये दोनों के लिए common है. Whatever I am talking about the common point, please mention that point clearly because वहाँ पे हम बस name mention करेंगे. That's it. हाँ रामचंद्र, I'll continue that point. Just wait बेटा. पहले हम alternation देख लेते हैं, then we talk about the life cycle. ठीक है? Yeah, we are talking about gametophytic converting to sporophytic, sporophytic converting to gametophytic. Okay, so alternation in generation. So such type of this life cycle, these are very much common in case of Bryophyta and the Pteridophyta. ये दोनों के लिए common है. Alternation of generation. Regular switch हो रहा है, right? Regular switch. Gametophytic to sporophytic, sporophytic to gametophytic. Got it? Any doubt from alternation of generation point? Tell me quickly. Any doubt? Clear? Okay. Now, life cycle. Haplodiploidic life cycle, diplohaplodic life cycle. Commonly. So, first of all, I'll compare this point with Brio as well as Pterido because this point is not mentioned in CRT. पहले हम Brio के लिए देखेंगे and immediately we compare this point with Pterido. In case of this Bryophyta, life cycle, haplodiploidic life cycle. Haplo means what? Haploid body. Diploidic. Diploidic means what? Diploid body. So haplodiploidic life cycle. And why we write down haplo first here? Because haplo means what? Which body? Haploid body. And this haploid body basically dominant. So whenever you are writing any information with respect, अगर ऐसे होगा, for example, zygotic meiosis होगा or diploidic life cycle, that time there is no problem. But is this in a two word like haplo and another one that is diplo? So there is a one rule: you should give the priority initial letter, initial word that should be dominant. Whatever the dominant phase are there, you should write down first. That is a priority. So in case of Bryophyta, we should always write down haplodiploidic life cycle. And why we write down haplo first? Because haploid, these are the dominant phase, which is a gametophyte, right? Now, pterido के लिए exactly reverse scenario. In case of the pteridophyta, you have to write down like diplohaplodic life cycle. Diplohaplodic life cycle. And why we are talking about the diplo first? Because in case of the pteridophyta, diplo means which body? Sporophytic body. So that sporophytic body, basically these are the dominant phase. So whenever we are talking about in case of pteridophyta, always write down diploid first. Diploid means which body? 2N. 2N means what? Which body? Sporophytic body. And this sporophytic body basically dominant. See, on the basis of what we are deciding ki kaun dominant hai, total it is depend upon who produce food, who absorb mineral and the water, because these are the very basic needs, right? So, who is capable for the photosynthesis as well as who is capable for the absorption? Totally, okay, totally. दोनों के दोनों काम करने चाहिए. So, on the basis of that, we are deciding dominant. Which one is dominant? So, in case of the Bryophyta, gametophytic phase, these are the dominant. That's why we are talking about life cycle, haplodiploidic life cycle. But when you compare this point with pteridophyta, so that pteridophyta basically will be showing diplohaplodic life cycle. And why we are writing the diplo first? Because diplo, these are the sporophytic phase, which is the dominant. Clear? Clear this point? Anyone? Any doubt? Then okay, chalo. So last point I'm talking some common point from the Bryophyta, and immediately we compare this point with algae because algae we already study this part. So हम थोड़ा सा comparison वाला part देख रहे हैं. Then immediately we are talking about differences between the liverworts and the mosses, which is a neat favorite part. Please kindly check your mic. किसी का mic on है? JF. Now, so we are talking about some common point from the Bryophyta. So I'm talking about some alternative name for the Bryophyta. Okay, एक साथ हम लिख रहे पूरे. Bryophytes also called as different name with their reason. Number one, these are also called as the non-cormophytes. First one. And why we are talking about the non-cormophytes? Subhas. Non-cormophytes because true leaf, stem, as well as the root, they absent. That's why these are also called as the non-cormophytes. And you know very well, non-cormophytes, these are the very common for the algae as well as these are the very common in case of bryo. So ये दोनों के लिए similar है. Non-cormophytes means what? True root-like structure, true stem-like structure, or true root leaf-like structure, they totally absent. So non-cormophytes. Example: algae and the bryophyta. Second example, bryophytes. These are also called as the atracheophytes. Atracheophytes. Atracheophytes means what? Where muscular tissue like xylem and the phloem they absent. Why we are talking about atracheophytes? Because हमने देखा था tracheids, आपने नाम सुना होगा in case of angiosperm. Vessels are there, tracheids are there. So we are talking about some vascular tissue. So vascular tissue is absent. That's why we are, that is xylem and phloem, these are the absent. So we are talking about the word that is atracheophytes. And atracheophytes, again, these are the very much common for the algae as well as the bryophyta. Because definitely पहले algae बना and after the algae, now there is a development of the bryophyta because all these are the part of the evolution. Now, third one we are talking about, these are the first embryophytes. First embryophytes, right? First embryophytes, who is first embryophytes? Because first time there is an embryo get formed. Embryo form first time in bryophyta. So that's why bryophyta also called as the first embryophytes. And we know very well, embryo basically these are present in case of bryo as well as it is present in case of pterido, as well as it is present in case of gymno, and as well as it is present in case of angio. But अगर question में पूछा गया है first embryophyte, so answer will be bryophyte. Now, next point number 4. These are also called as the amphibians of plant kingdom. Amphibians of plant kingdom. Next point. Water required for fertilization. Definitely, we know very well water required for the fertilization, and in this point you have to remember algae. Algae also required water for the fertilization. Bryophyta also required water for the fertilization. Pteridophyta also required water for the fertilization. Some angiosperm also required, some gymnosperm also. Gymnosperm actually wind ke through hota hai, but some angiosperm like aquatic plant, that is a different thing. But 100% we are talking about that is totally it is depend upon the water. If no water, no fertilization. Okay, we are talking about that situation. So these are the condition mostly is present in case of algae, bryophyta, pteridophyta, and if you want, you can write down some angiosperm also. Done. So these are the some common point, and this common point we link with the bryophyta and as well as we compare this point with other plant kingdom also. So start from the new page. Divide your page into two sections. Now we are talking about bryophytes divided into two classes. Number one, liverworts, and liverworts we have to compare with the mosses because NEET favorite part है, यही से question ज़्यादा बनते हैं. And syllabus for the next page. Complete bryophyta. Okay, syllabus पता चला क्या है? Bryophyta. These are the syllabus. Now learn examples, practice examples, remember the things, solve maximum questions. So, now, should I continue next part? So kindly divide your page into two sections because now we are taking the exactly differences between the two classes of bryophyta. Number one, we are talking about Hepatic Opsida. Opsida. O-P-S-I-D-A. Opsida. Right? Number one, we are talking about that is Hepatic Opsida class because a class hai, huh? We are talking about Bryophyta class. Bryophytes class. Okay. So number one, we are talking about the Hepatic Opsida and common name for the Hepatic Opsida. These are also called as liverworts, which is primitive Bryophyta. Actually, बताने की भी जरूरत नहीं है because you know very well when we are starting from the left hand side, so that is a primitive one. जैसे जैसे हम right hand side को जाएंगे toward the writing, so that is toward the advanced. So liverwort, that is primitive Bryophyta, also called as the Hepatic Opsida. Next, we compare this point with Bryopsida. Opsida. Opsida, these are the suffix which is used for the class. So Opsida class. And Opsida class also called as the mosses. Mosses. And mosses basically, these are largest class among the all Bryophyta. Because ये advanced भी है. Definitely these are the more developed, more advanced. और एक आता है basically Anthropsida. So we are not taking that third category because वहाँ से question भी बनता. Mostly question coming from the liverworts and the another question coming from the mosses. Liverworts also called as Hepatic Opsida in case of botanical terminology, and mosses also called as the Bryopsida. Now, more important point, question. You have to remember इतने question करने, इससे बाहर नहीं जाना. So first one, we are taking first example, that is Rixia, which is part of the liverworts. Another example, we are talking about Merchantia. Second example, Merchantia. These are the two examples which is come under the Hepatic Opsida, primitive Bryophyta, that is liverworts. Now we are taking the example for the mosses. Very much common, जिसके हमें life cycle पे study करनी है, that is Funaria. Another example we are talking about, that is Polytrichum. ये अभी के टेस्ट में चल आके गया था, and I discussed this question just. Polytrichum basically it is a part of the Bryophyta. And the another one, that is Sphagnum. फिर से initial हुआ, start from the S. Sphagnum. So these are the 5 examples. Only 5 examples आपको याद रखने. Because list है, these are the very less example, but very important because maximum time question coming. Comparison between the liverworts and the mosses in some point of view. So we discussed that point. Peristome teeth कैसे होता है? Now what is the pattern of development? We discuss more information about the Merchantia also. Let's discuss. Okay. So remember this example. Number one, that is Rixia, Merchantia, which is example for the liverworts. And now second part we are talking about, that is mosses. Under the mosses we are talking about Funaria, Polytrichum, and the Sphagnum. Done this part? This part is clear, everyone? Okay. So now one by one we are taking some points. First characteristic, comparison between the liverworts and the mosses. Plant body, which is a dominant. So first point we are talking about, write down the title, gametophytic plant body. Okay. That is gametophytes body. And you know very well what will be the ploidy. These are the haploid in nature. So we are talking about the symmetry. Title हो गया, first character, first feature, gametophytic body, ploidy level, that is haploid. Now, whenever we are talking about this gametophytic body, it has a one specific type of this symmetry, that is dorsiventral symmetry. So it has dorsiventral symmetry, dorsal and the ventral. And whenever we are talking about in case of mosses, mosses basically it has leafy structure. It has the leafy structure. That's why mosses also called as the leafy Bryophyta. Okay. We are talking about mosses also called as leafy bryophyta, because entire body, maximum body is covered with the leaf. Root part is less, stem part is less, but more number of the leaf. That's why it is also called as the. Screen is not visible. Screen visible or not? Okay, visible now. Okay. Yeah. So leafy structure. That's why moss is also called as the leafy bryophyta. We discussed that part. Okay. So if I'm talking about the body structure, dorsiventral symmetry for the liverworts and the leafy structure for the mosses. So quickly we are taking the diagrammatic representation, and here we are talking about very simple structure. We are taking example, that is Rixia. Body dekh le, how that gametophytic body is present. So quickly I'll draw that structure. Very simple. Slightly थोड़ा सा कर्व ड्रॉ करेंगे. So we are talking about whatever the upper direction, this one. This side it is called as the dorsal side. जो lower side है, these are called as the ventral side. जैसे हमें होता है ना कि dorsal means back side and the ventral means belly side. Similarly, we are talking about symmetry. It's present dorsal and the ventral. So dorsal side, upper side, and the ventral side, that is lower side. Now toward the lower side, toward the ventral side, now there is a presence of root-like structure. So root-like structure, and that root-like structure simply it is called as the rhizoid. And now what will be the ploidy level of the rhizoid? Definitely it has the haploid, because rhizoid, these are the part of the gametophytic body, and entire gametophytic body कैसा है? These are the haploid. तो जो कुछ भी rhizoid का structure होगा, that entire rhizoid structure, these are haploid in nature. Now ये हम आगे थोड़ा repeat करेंगे this point. There is a presence of something a gamma cup. तो यहाँ पे कुछ तो present होंगे, cup like structure. Simply ऐसे draw किया हुआ है मैंने, like cone ऐसे, that's it. Huh? So this structure nothing but these are called as the which cup? That is gammy, or you can say that is gamma cup. And if I'm talking about the what is the position of that gamma cup? So that gamma cup is present towards the ventral side. So we discuss that part later. What is meaning of gamma and how they can produce. So we are talking about the two sides, lower side, ventral. Toward the ventral side, two parts present honge. Number one, that is gammy, as well as there is a presence of the rhizoid. Rhizoid means what? Root-like structure. Okay. So these are the simple symmetry that is called as the dorsiventral symmetry, which is very much common in case of these liverworts. Now we are talking about leafy structure, that is leafy moss. In case of this leafy moss, root-like structures are present. That root-like structure simply it is called as the rhizoid. Now there is a presence of stem-like structure. Ploidy level पे क्या होगा? Haploid. Huh? Remember everything. Whatever we are talking about the all part, even that gammy cup also it has the haploid structure, because these all structure present on gametophytic body. तो जितना भी body का part होगा, all that body part is present on ploidy level. Basically these are the haploid in nature. ज़्यादा ही रूट पड़ा हो गया. Okay. So these are the part of the rhizoid, which is haploid in nature. Now we are talking about calloid, that is a stem-like structure. So this color, We are talking about calloid structure. Calloid means stem-like structure. And finally, there is a presence of something leafy structure. So on this stem, you know very well, there is a presence of something leaf-like structure. So don't draw a well-shaped leaf because it is not a gymnosperm, it is not an angiosperm. Bryophyta. So true leaf absented, leaf-like structure presented, which is a green in color. So simply we are talking about, just draw green structure. Okay, and these are the structure that is called as the phylloid, leaf-like structure. And what will be the ploidy level? Again, it has the haploid structure. So these are the simple structure with respect to gametophytic body and the gametophytic body. In case of liverworts, we are taking simple example Rixia, and the another we are talking about that is leafy structure. Why we say that it's leafy most? Because maximum body, entire body, it is covered with the leaf. So root-like structure, rhizoid, stem-like structure, calloid, and leaf-like structure called as the phylloid. Got it? Yeah, this point is clear, everyone? Any doubt? Any doubt? Okay, Pratyusha, Deepika. Now, chalo. So with this, we end today's session, and please try to write down whatever, solve that paper again. जो आपने मिला है, right? Only there is a 133 question that is a bonus because there is some spelling mistake. So because of that, B at the place of D should be there, but by the mistake वहाँ पे B हुआ है. So because of only that single alphabet, you will get the bonus mark. I think rest of paper we discuss. You have any doubt, you can stay here and you can ask me. So whatever the part is remaining with respect to liverworts and the mosses, we continue in the next class. And again we discuss the life cycle of the funaria. आपको homework है, जो funaria का life cycle है ना, similar है, but we are taking only one stage extra point, that is a protonema structure, which is a very much common in case of the mosses. We'll discuss that part in more because that's a neat favorite part. Rest of portion again we repeated this part. So please read carefully what is meaning of sporic meiosis, what is meaning of alternation in generation, gametophytic, sporophytic, whatever we have did in previous classes, previous 2 classes. Please read that. ठीक है? Because अगर आपका base strong हो रहा है अभी, so it will be help for next class and as well as it will be help for pteridophytes. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. That is a test ना. आपको भी क्या पता था? Yeah. चलो. So thank you so much. Yeah. Study well. Bye bye.